Hey guys, it's Mike for another NFT Guardians video. It's been a minute. I came back from Greece. I got COVID. I was down and out for a week. Then we were having solar installed on the house and I had to re-roof the house. So it's been a pretty hectic month or so. But we're back on the game. I have been playing on the main account the entire time. I have not played on the free-to-play, so I look forward to get back into there and seeing what's going on. Life's a little busy right now, so it might be a minute before I upload some free-to-play videos. But we do have a new update. A lot of things have happened in the game. And then we also have this new event going on. Starting out, we crafting. We got tier 7 gear, so we're starting to kind of put some of those things together. Currently, I have not gotten any legendary pieces, but I am starting to stack up a few of the epics. And I think piece by piece, I'll start to replace that on my champions. I have tier 6 gear that's doing pretty well, so it's going to be a little bit before I can make better pieces. I got this tier 6 gear at 15 stars all maxed out. It's a 15%er. It doesn't match his affinity, but it is a 15%er. So once I have the ability to get him a new weapon and that can get me more attack. I also got 3 rolls of crit rate on this one, which was awesome. So I'll be pretty sad to move some of those. Did pick up his crown as well in the shop. During the last event, I did pull out a few more calling crystals, and I did pull a Phoenicia. So I've been working on her, and with all of the not ascension scrolls, but with all of the experience scrolls that we've been getting from Rush, I have maxed out Tianlong, Darizda, Tuskrog, Flix. I also purchased a Priel. And then I got her maxed out, also my Grizel, and now I'm working on Phoenicia and then moving into the salve that I pulled during the event as well. So I was pretty fortunate during that event. I got a salve and a Phoenicia, so I was pretty excited about that. I have been actually selling quite a few of my smaller characters that have just been on the market forever. So the market's kind of going through some ebb and flows right now, which is kind of exciting. In the guild, we did get artifact crafting and so forth. Our guild leader has not actually forged anything yet, so I don't think I have access to anything. And not being a guild leader, I cannot forge it. So we're currently stacking on, I think we have a bunch of inventory that our guild's been working on. So we have quite a few things going on in here. So hopefully the guild leader starts doing stuff with that. I have been getting the requests from a lot of folks to actually start my own guild. I don't know now's the time, but maybe in the future it might be something I entertain, but we'll see how that goes. On the quest here, doing the request, we can claim through these guys. Oh, I could probably auto dispatch on a couple of these. Maybe I don't have these people, so that's going to be a little bit rough. Donate, make sure I'm donated on the advance there, so that's good to go. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, there's been so much added to the game. The artifacts, I believe this is where they will show up when our guild leader actually crafts them, and then from there we can assign those to our champions. So that'll be pretty fun to get extra stats and different boosts in that space. Still running through the arena strategy. If you didn't see that video, it kind of maximizes the amount of arena tokens you get, and that I'm spending every arena token I have on. This is actually a great value. I haven't bought it. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to behave myself. But I'm spending every arena token I have on calling crystals. So I actually did get enough for one more, so we'll buy that real quick. And start stacking those up. These 2 new champions look pretty good. I haven't had a chance to really play with them. I just barely got started in the event, but they do have some benefits to them. I kind of like this guy with his AoE attack, but the freeze on Liska also seems pretty solid. So I'll horse around with them, hopefully get some highlight videos out in the next couple days so you guys can know what's going on with those folks. In adventure mode, we did actually get a whole new world. They did move Requiem Circle way over here, which I didn't really understand why that went over there, but we got Frozen Wilds up here, which is pretty exciting. So I've actually moved through, I don't know why it's all blurry, but I moved through all these guys, beat the challenge. They moved from 3 different challenges to I think just 1 challenge, and you can sweep it as many times as you want. One thing I'd caution you on though, instead of sweeping the same level multiple times, you're going to end up with the same fragments of whoever's on that level. So if you're trying to stack up Aquarius or a Palmera, then that would make sense. But if you're trying to kind of go across the board, you probably want to sweep each of the dungeons once per day, or do, 10 on this one today, 10 on this one tomorrow kind of thing, where you're still moving through those resources to get the Tuskrogs and the other champions that are available. Chances are you probably won't run into a situation where you really need all of those fragments, but there was the rare event that happened, I think one of the first events that ever came out, where you were required to use rare characters, and those Guardians having those fragments is actually how I got all of those guys leveled up. So you can see I'm just stacking. I got over 2,000 Quitaris here. Not 2,000, but I have 2,000 of those puzzle pieces. So every 60 I can make a Quitari. So I can make as many as I really need to, and just stacking up that. I am a little bit behind on Aquirus and Tuskrog. I was using them to build a couple. So we're going to work through that. But that's what I got going on in that space. On the Guardian front, I have been working to max people out. Obviously, Tian Long's hard to max out because he's just super expensive. I did get a Durizda level 10, Radiance level 4. I got a Tuskrog, that was a 10-4. I'm working on a Flix. Currently, I think she's a 9-4. Yeah, it's 9-4. I do need to actually get another copy of her, or 2 more copies of her, but I do have the Soul Stones ready to go. So hopefully I can get a 10-5 on my Flix. I've been stacking her with as much HP as I got. I got over 5 million HP on her, so her heals are coming in strong. I just recently started building Priel, so her gear is lacking a little bit, but I did get her maxed out as far as her levels go, and then I bought her as a 10-4 maxed out. So she was, I think, about $30 or so. So a pretty good buy. She's an awesome champion, and she has helped me get through quite a few things, and having her come in as kind of a secondary tank has been really beneficial. I need to rebuild my Grizel completely because I actually enlightened her prior to understanding how the Radiance worked. So she's just 7-star Radiance 0. So I am actually trying to stack up some, where I got here, got a couple, I only have 2. I got 2 Grizels down here. So I need to start building her and utilizing my Ascension Seals to get her as an NFT. And then I also need to ascend Phoenicia and Salve just so that they're ascended and ready to go. So taking a look at my party in the Glacial Guardians event, I am utilizing my Tian Long. I've got, Liska and the 2 new Dolver. Both of them plus Tuskrog and Durizda, Palmera. I brought in my Priel as well. And then Aquirus, Quitari, and Flix. So I forewent JD on the healer. I think she would definitely be better than both Flix and Aquirus, but I don't know that I get the AoE damage to get through the waves that I'm going to get from Tian Long. So potentially JD as your 3rd legendary would make sense. I do feel both of these guys are definitely worthwhile, at least so far. I am only on level 30 so far, so I still have a ways to go. I don't know as far as whether or not bringing Aquirus in or Quitari. My thought with Quitari was getting through the waves would be helpful, and then utilizing Aquirus and Flix because they're epics doing a similar job to JD, not quite as good, and you can check out that video showing the different healers as well, but they're similar. So in that space then I'm not taking up a legendary spot with JD. I can use Flix and Aquirus to kind of supplement that. But so far I've used more continues than I feel like I should have. I think I've used 3 or 4 continues already, and I'm only on to level 30. I haven't been able to beat the boss at level 30. So I feel like I could probably do better. So I might horse around with this team a little more and probably do a secondary video that kind of speaks a little more to this event specifically. So an update that took place right before I left almost a month ago, they had the training room here where you can go in here, there's stake mode and your guardian mode. In guardian mode, you can actually specify who you want to fight on both sides. So if you wanted to just put up, like say the 2 new people, you want to see who was a better attacker, you could put in Dover here and then go into your opponent and select I don't know, Lycos, whatever the wolf's name is. We're gonna find them in here. There we are. And then and just put them head to head. Now they come in maxed out as far as power, and you just click fight and you can kind of get a feel. Now I was running battles through here, and I did notice, I do like that he pulls up 2 wolves. That's pretty big, because like Tuskrog pulls up 1, but that's extra folks that have to be attacked and killed. They're also doing extra damage, so it does help out in that space. But I did find out when I was doing this that whoever you put on your team compared to the opponent tends to have an advantage. And what I mean by that is, like, for example, I was trying to figure out who was better between Flix and Aquirus. So if I go through and I hit, and we'll actually do the same too and see. So last time Dover won, but we're going to put the fox on, or wolf. I guess it's probably a wolf. We're going to put the fox wolf over here and then put Dover as the opponent and see if we get the same outcome. What I ran into was I ran it 5 times back to back with Flix versus Aquirus, and Flix won every time. Then I ran it 5 times back to back with Aquirus versus Flix, and Aquirus won every time. So I feel like my party has an advantage. It could be a time advantage where they just get to go first with their special abilities or something along those lines. But it would be something to kind of play with. So if you're like an attacker versus an attacker, it kind of give you an idea who is actually doing better, who's doing more work, more damage for you. But there are weird parts to kits where it's not always 1-to-1. So Liska did lose both battles, so that would tell me as far as damage is concerned, Dover is going to be doing more damage between the two of them. But I'm not entirely sure and familiar with all of their kits, so I'm not sure if that's even a real fair comparison. But that is a fun way to kind of see if you're comparing, like, hey, this tank compared to this tank, kind of give a feel for what would happen. You could also go in and say, I'm going to run my team as I normally run them, but then swap out the tank. So you could say my team is normally Atticus, Drizda, Flix, Tuskrog, and Grizel, and then put that team up against somebody swapping out the tank. So then you would put in, say, Priel instead of Tuskrog, just to see what the difference would be between these two teams. It's kind of clunky right now. Like here we can move the people around on my party, but on the opponent party, I can't move these characters. So if I click them, put them in the wrong spot, sometimes the orientation and how you place them could be beneficial. So you kind of want to compare apples to apples and put them in the right spot. So hopefully they kind of fix through that. But then you can run this battle and just see if Tuskrog wins or if Priel wins. And that way you're kind of looking at the entire composition of the team and whether or not this particular, she's not a tank, but she pretty much is a tank. But whether or not Priel is doing more work for you than Tuskrog. So kind of looks like Tuskrog's going to get it here. And you could probably run this 5 or 6 times back to back, then switch it around and have Priel on the on your side, and then put Tuskrog over on the opponent's side and run that back-to-back 6 times, just kind of get a feel for how that's playing out. So in that particular instance, I wish it would tell us that we won. I'm pretty sure the Tuskrog team actually won. So that's interesting. I would have thought Priel would probably do better, but that's kind of the fun part of that. So you can utilize that to your advantage and kind of get a feel for some of those team compositions and kind of switch stuff up and see how it would go. I'm trying to figure out how to make this work with the highlight videos, because before I was doing highlight videos in the Great Forge and bringing them in by themselves, but I had to physically buy them and have them on my team to do that. Whereas if I did it in here, I think I could probably be more effective. Plus you're seeing that character maxed out against other maxed out characters, and probably could figure out a way to make that significantly more consistent than what the Great Forge has to offer. So I'm playing with some ideas there. So if you have any, leave some in the comments below for me. I'd love to hear what you have to say. But for today, I think that's about it. I'm glad to be back. I apologize it's taking me so long to get this video out, but I hope to be launching a video at least every other day for a little bit. This is kind of the busy season for work and everything else going on. So every day is probably going to be pretty tough, but every other day. But I do have a couple of videos that I'm trying to get out, like the highlight videos of the new characters, as well as a guide for the Glacial Guardians event. So I'm still working through the team that I'm running and whether or not it is the right team and what I can recommend based on what I've learned for you guys. So hopefully you found this beneficial. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so. It means the world to me, and I look forward to seeing you next time.